Hello, hi, and welcome to Katie Bell Physiotherapy and Wellness. This is going to be our first live Ask the Physio. It's great to have you here and joining us today. I have a few questions that have been emailed and messaged through, but I want to welcome you. My name is Emily. I am the Physio and Pilates lead here at Katie Bell Physiotherapy and Wellness. We're very excited to be doing these regular slots here on Facebook Live, where every time we speak to people, they always say to us, I'm too busy, I can't make appointments because of work, I've got so much on that I can't make an appointment, but I really need some help. And as a result, our health suffers and we don't actually get the help that we need so that we can move better and feel better. So as a team, we decided to bring physiotherapy to you. So I hope that this is going to be a great opportunity for you to be able to ask questions about injuries, get some advice, and also we can be looking at any sort of kind of top tips or questions that you have for us as well. So through this, we're going to be trying to give you as much information as we can. Obviously, all the questions that you're going to be sending through to us are not based on a full assessment. So anything that we do give you advice on is kind of help you as much as we can. But obviously, if there is something we think maybe you need a bit more of an assessment, that there's more information that we need from you as well, we'll obviously encourage you to come and see us and we can arrange an appointment for you. At the end of the video, when we post this and share this, you'll find links to any offers or any kind of ways to help you book into appointments if you feel you need some more help. So we've got some questions being sent in, which I'm going to grab here. So one of the first ones we got sent today was from Zoe, and she was asking us, I'm going to read this out for you. What are the best easy exercises for time-poor people to improve pelvic floor and core? Now, I have to admit that this is absolutely spot on for me. So when I got this question, I was like, yeah, this is a really pertinent question. So many of us find that we struggle with time to do our exercises and time to do our physiotherapy. And so often we feel that that's the reason why we're not actually getting better and seeing the changes. And yes, you do need to have a certain amount of time and investment to make those changes happen. However, I'm a big believer that actually if you train well, you train smart, and you've got good foundational control, that actually you're going to change your symptoms much quicker, and you're going to improve your strength and conditioning much quicker. So I don't want you to worry, I'm not going to give you loads and loads of exercises to do, but when it comes to pelvic floor and core, one of the most important things that I talk about, which I mentioned before, was like foundational control. So what on earth do I mean by foundational control? So if you cannot activate your inner core properly, if you can't coordinate all of those muscles together, then you're not actually going to improve your outer core, your strength core, as efficiently and effectively as you'd like to. So I'm going to explain this in a little bit more detail. So the reason for that is that your inner core is created of your diaphragm, your pelvic floor, and that's the top and the bottom of that cylinder, your deep tummy muscles and your deep spinal muscles, and that's a cylinder. And that cylinder works together as a whole unit. So yes, I can teach you pelvic floor exercises, but if that's not coordinating with your breath, it's not coordinating and aligned with your back and your deep abdominal muscles, then you're not actually going to see the results you need from your pelvic floor. So when it comes to pelvic floor exercises, one of the biggest things that I see is, first of all, I said that the technique isn't right. So I'm going to teach you wink and zip. I'm going to teach you your breathing control, because when it comes to leakage or poor core stability or anything that goes wrong in terms of pelvic floor function, lacking that synchronization, that coordination between your pelvic floor and your diaphragm is the biggest thing that I see go wrong. So wink and zip is kind of the way that I teach pelvic floor exercises. So I want you to think about your pelvic floor. So if you're sat down right now, imagine where your bottom is in contact with the seat. And I want you to imagine a diamond shape from your pubic bone at the front out to the corners where your hips are and into your tailbone. So I want you to squeeze at your back passage and then zip it forwards. Imagine you're trying to close your back passage to your front passage. And that creates a slinging effect, a lifting effect. Okay, now hold that there and take a breath in and a breath out. And then relax. So my question to you, Zoe, would be, can you do a wink and a zip? Can you hold it there? Can you breathe in? Can you breathe out? If you can't do all of those things, if you're not feeling those connections, then I could teach you lots and lots of Pilates exercises, lots and lots of lovely core exercises. But if you don't have that control, you're not going to get what you need out of the other exercises. So that's my first thing. Get your pelvic floor exercises done. And you don't have to do them all day long. The guidelines are 3 lots of 8 holds a day. 3 lots of 8, there's not much really. So wink and zip, back passage to front passage, hold it there for a breath in and a breath out, and then repeat that 8 times. Last little tip that I'm going to give you is you coordinate that into your daily activities as well. So if it's hard for you to do it in standing, or it's hard for you to do it when you're lifting, make sure that you can do it well once a day so you don't have to find it difficult, but make sure you challenge yourself. So, I was talking to a lady just earlier today who was saying she was struggling when she picks her baby up over the baby gate or over the cot. She just can't feel her core. So we're getting her doing, so literally going into some deadlifts, so getting her to get her alignment right, get her pelvic floor switching on, and then folding through and then lifting back up and coordinating that with your pelvic floor. So making sure that works into the core. If you feel that you're not sure about your pelvic floor, if you're not sure that that's quite right, you're not getting that coordination, that activation, give me a comment in the video and I will get back to you and we will link up with you and make sure that you're happy with your pelvic floor and talk to you more about how to develop that as well. Okay, I've got a question here from Dan Cook. Hey Dan, thanks for your question. It says, I regularly do group running interval, e.g. 5 times 1,000. Hang on a second, I've just lost that. I'm going to bring that back up, I guess. So Dan, talk to me again about that. You're saying that you're doing some interval training and you're kind of getting tight. You're struggling with that activation, are you? Okay, so I'm just going to load this up here. Won't be a second. So whilst I'm waiting for Dan's question just to pop back up again, I'm going to just answer a question that I got here earlier. And this was from Jane. She says, my neck gets really sore at the end of a day at work. I generally spend most of my day at the desk. I'm trying to move my neck regularly, doing kind of movement exercises, but it's still getting sore. Why is my neck not getting better? So, Jane, your question is really interesting because, if you're stationary for long periods throughout the day, you are going to find that, especially if you are at a desk space where your laptop is in front of you, your computer is in front of you, and you tend to look down. If we're in sustained postures for long periods of time, our neck does have to work quite hard, and we really struggle with that activation, that connection. So, what I would encourage you to think about, first of all, is desk setup. You can do as many stretches and movement exercises as you like, but if you are constantly coming back into a position where you can't actually, where you're straining your neck and you're feeling like you're loading into your neck, you're always going to find that actually, load this up, you're going to find that you're not going to, you're going to load more and more into that neck, so you can keep unpicking and fighting the fire, but you're not actually going to take that fire down. So commonly what we see in terms of neck problems is, as we said, the alignment. So we want to check and correct that alignment. One of the most common areas that actually gets tight that we don't think of is actually our chest. So if you're always leaning forwards and always rounding those shoulders and reaching forwards with those arms, you're always going to be kind of bringing the shoulder forwards, and then that actually shortens this gap here, tightens those muscles, which then pulls into your neck and gives you neck pain. So really, really easy stretch for you to do. I would first of all be thinking about releasing through my pecs. So if I sat at my desk space, I'd stay nice and high up above the breast tissue, just below the collarbone. I'd be bringing my fingers in and massaging through the front of my pecs. And if that does feel very tight and tender and sore, that's definitely where you need to be focusing in. The other area that I would be looking at is having a stretch, so stretching out of my pecs. Now, if you don't have a wall space near you when you're at your desk space, you can simply just place your hands onto your lower back or reaching behind so that you can then press and open up. So as long as you've not got any instability, any history of pain or instability here at the front of the shoulder, that's absolutely fine to open up and press through the front of the chest there. That should give you a big, big stretch across the front there. Last thing I'd encourage you to do is to do a nice arm opener. So with this arm opener, I want you to come up in front. Now, if you work from home, you can do this no problem. But if you are maybe in an office space, you might have to get everybody to join in to do a little bit of desk-based Pilates. So you're going to bring your arms forward. So you're reaching in front of you and then going nice and wide. So I go out in front, nice and wide here. You may even like to do some head turns. Bring those arms back in and then go out, head turns here. All of this is mobilizing and releasing this connective tissue and these tight muscles at the front, which is going to draw you and connect you down. And actually what we want to do is restack so that you can get this nice alignment through your neck and your spine. So have a go, a little bit of massage in these upper pecs, all the way underneath the collarbone. And then also thinking, nice stretch for the pecs, and then arm openers to lengthen and open out this connective tissue so it doesn't all get sucked down and drawn down nice place. Okay, so we are just trying to load up Dan's question. So I won't be a second, we'll just bring that through so we can answer your running question. I do have another running question that got emailed in, so if I don't get through to Dan's question, I will email you back, Dan, so you do get an answer to your question. Okay, let's see if this will load up. Okay, so I can't get it to load right now. So Dan, hang on in there. I'm going to get back to you with an answer to your question. So don't worry, we will find that for you. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is answer a question here from Jamie. So Jamie messaged us saying, I have been increasing my training for Sheffield Half Marathon. So if you don't live here in Sheffield, we have a half marathon that is happening on Sunday the 14th of April, which our clinic will be open for. So if you want to come and check out the half marathon and come and visit our clinic, we will be open on that Sunday. So yeah, he's been training, sorry Jamie, you've been training for the Sheffield Half Marathon. He said, I was dreading the uphills in my training, but I'm getting back and knee pain when I run downhill. So not uphill, he's getting a problem when he runs downhill. I'm worried about the end of the run, back down Ecclesall Road. What should I do? So if you don't live here in Sheffield, our half marathon goes from the city centre, it comes all the way up. I think there's about 7 miles of uphill. Sounds great, doesn't it? All the way out to the Peak District, beautiful views, wrap round, comes down, and then we've got a long, slow descent back down into the city. And most people, like Jamie's saying, dreading those uphills, 7 miles of uphill, that's going to be an epic effort. But actually, he's struggling with the downhill. He's getting knee pain and back pain. Now, one of the common things we see, and if you haven't checked out our blogs or our articles or anything recently that we've been having on our social media about running, do go and check out those tips. There's some videos as well that are coming out as well and some information for you. So when you run downhill, one of the common patterns that we see, and this might be the issue for you if you're struggling in your back, in your knee, is that as you run downhill, a lot of us, instead of keeping our core and keeping our alignment and our connection here, what we end up doing is folding forwards and like staggering down in towards the run. So we end up getting tight in our back, so we grip here into our back, and actually we tilt forwards with our pelvis. And that means we almost kind of fall into the run. We fall into and down the pressure into the knees, and we end up having to grip here at our back. So a couple of simple things you could try out, Jamie, is first of all doing some massage and release of your lower back. If that's incredibly tight, if you find doing a Pilates roll down or a bend down forwards really stiff on the lower back, then you've got to start opening up that back, because if this is stiff and gripping, no matter how strong you get here at the front, you're not going to unload the back. Now, the reason why that is important is that if you are stuck in your back and you're tilted and you've not got this activation, not got this alignment here, it means you don't get the activation all the way down the legs as well. So your glutes can't switch on, your hamstrings can't fire off, which means you can't get that nice stride behind you. And actually then we load down through the front and load into those kneecaps rather than getting a nice appropriate load all the way down the leg through the foot and using the whole entire body for that action. We think about running being about the legs, the whole body action. We've got thoracic rotation, stability of the pelvis, the legs firing off. So massage off your lower back, get a tennis ball or spiky ball, avoiding those bony areas, massaging into the lower back. And also stretch out your lower back. So have a go at a shell stretch. So get onto the floor, hands out in front of you and hands and knees. Lean back and fold your body over so that you stretch out that lower back. You may even like to do some wag the tail, which while you're there, you sweep the hips to the left and the right, and that should stretch out your lower back. The other thing I want you to do is go out on some flat runs, which I know is really hard here in Sheffield. I want you to tuck your tailbone under, get your glutes switching on a little bit more, and just see whether or not, is this an issue that you're tilting forwards and gripping with your back and not complementing it here at the front? Or it might be that actually you're just very stiff and tight in your back and you're struggling to loosen that off. So you might need some massage release, you might need some soft tissue work, or you might need to do some strength and conditioning here. So you might like to try some Pilates or get some soft tissue or sports massage. Okay, that's all the questions that we've got for today. I want to say thank you for you guys joining us online today. We will be back again next week, and if those of you who've asked questions, we've had some others pop through as well, we will get back in contact with you, or we will answer them at your next session as well. If you can't wait for your next session and you really want some more help, please feel free to email us and contact us at hello@katiebellphysio.com, and the team will be here to help. Thank you for joining me, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.